All right, so 42. Human beings have cognitive faculties that are superior to those of other animals, right? So we have these cognitive things that are superior to other animals. And once humans become aware of these things, these cognitive functions, they cannot be made happy by anything that does not involve gratification of these faculties. All right, so our conclusion is once we become aware of these cognitive faculties, we can't be made happy by anything that does not involve gratification to these things. All right, so we want to weaken that. So does anybody have a prediction of what would weaken this conclusion? So I'm thinking like what could make us happy without involving gratification of these things?
There are other things that can make us happy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking like cognitive, that means like cognitive is
Your brain,
brain, right? Yeah.
your
So
mind. You're gonna
essentially
need
something
mind.
to make us happy that doesn't have to do with our mind. All right, so let's go ahead and start with these. A, certain animals, dolphins and
Chimpanzees.
bees
Mhm.
appear to be capable of rational communication. I feel like that's irrelevant. So I'm going to cross that off. Like we don't care about that. Has nothing to do about human beings. Like once they become aware of these things, us not having gratification. B, many people familiar both with intellectual stimulation and with physical pleasures enjoy the latter more.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe because maybe physical pleasure is not
Mhm.
the same as intellectual stimulation. So I'm going to leave B open.
Mhm.
C
Mhm.
says someone who never experienced classical music as a child will usually prefer popular music as an adult. I think that's irrelevant. So you never experienced this one thing when you're younger, so then you experience, yeah, no. D says many people who are serious athletes consider themselves to be happy. Well,
Oh,
maybe these serious athletes though are doing things that are like that include their cognitive faculties. Like it's some type of like they're really smart baseball players or something. And then E says many people who are serious athletes love gourmet food.
and that has what to do with what?
Is the answer B, Anna, or am I completely off?
Yeah, the answer is B, but that's why because I was between B and D. But now I understand why
Oh, cool. I feel
why.
like that's a really like that's a like I don't like that question.
Yeah, no, because I got caught up in exactly what it was saying.
I agree. Like cognitive, I feel like you really have to know cognitive faculties to get that. And I don't, I'm like, and I'm like, well, can't physical pleasure come from that? I don't, yeah. I feel like I'm not completely comfortable with the material matter, but B, like the content of it. But yeah, B is what I would narrow it down to. But D, I could see why you're like, well, then what's the difference between B and D? No, yeah.
But I understand like with B, it brings up two different things, and the familiar part too, because that
And
means
yeah,
they're aware of it.
and D, it doesn't tell us like what it is about being a serious athlete that's making them happy.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's why it's B. Did anybody else miss that one in the homework?